Hi, I'm Yulia, and this is The Brief, and in the previous video, we've covered all the news in the Western world, and now we're going to be covering Russia. If you missed that video, you can watch it here. Russia reportedly has around 300 Kh-101NV cruise missiles in its arsenal, according to sources. Some of these were used during the recent large-scale missile attacks. Intelligence estimates indicate that Russia has a capacity to produce 40 to 50 of those missiles monthly. Now, Ukraine has been allowed to strike Russia with long-range weapons, and we have talked about that. So the world is discussing how great of a decision it is and how it finally happened. And I mean, it did finally happen, and I'm so happy that it did happen after all. But at the same time, the reason why we needed strikes deep into Russia is to disable their airfields and disable their long-range missile stockpiles and their ammo depots and all of that, right? In order to save Ukrainian lives and prevent Russia from being able to launch these hyper-missile attacks on Ukraine. So the White House did not comment on reports about allowing Ukraine to strike Russian territory with long-range missiles, according to Reuters. But here is what we do know. The New York Times reported that the U.S. officials do not anticipate the use of ATACMS missiles to significantly change the war's course. The primary aim is to demonstrate to North Korea that its armed forces are vulnerable and should avoid further involvement. Biden is expected to permit Ukrainian armed forces to use long-range missiles in additional locations. So this is likely the first time you're hearing about it, because everyone is talking about strikes deep into Russia. They're not strikes deep into Russia. They're just strikes into Kursk right now to deter North Koreans. And while that's amazing, we're likely not going to be wasting long-range missiles on North Koreans or on Russian positions in Kursk. We're not going to be wasting a lot of those. Of course, obviously, we want to try it out and we want to see what that's going to do. But in reality, we need those for airfields in Russia. We need those for further than Kursk. And while it does say that Biden is likely to permit additional locations, Russia is going to know, because now they know that he permitted Kursk. They're going to expect him to permit other areas, and they're going to move their airfields, aircraft, and storage facilities, and they're going to prepare. And that's what the Western world constantly does. They give Russia an upper hand. Friends in Britain allowed Ukraine to hit the territory of the Russian Federation with Scalp Storm Shadow missiles, says Le Figaro. Friends in Britain have never really opposed allowing the use of Scalp or Storm Shadow missiles, but their use without specific maps provided by the US is irrelevant. Whether Ukraine will be granted access to the necessary data is still to be determined. Zelensky said that today, many in the media are discussing the fact that we have received permission to take appropriate action. But strikes are not made with words. Such matters are not announced. The rockets will speak for themselves, said Zelensky. And today was the first time that Ukrainian military used ATACMS to take out an ammo facility in the Bryansk region of Russia.
Ракета как будто туда прилетела. Да нет, это... Там такая только что была полоса, как будто ракета.
There have been 12 explosions and detonations fixated after that had happened. Speaking of explosions and detonations, this is completely irrelevant, but there is a hospital that has been on fire in Russia, in Yekaterinburg, and the reason for that fire is unknown. But, you know, I mean, just interesting to watch. This one is something that really triggered me to find out today. Russia is mass-producing mobile or portable nuclear shelters. Yes, you heard that right. They're meant for protection from nuclear explosions and radiation. This type of shelter can hold up to 54 people in its basic model and up to 150 in a model with more modules. Yeah, and that comes after Putin has signed a decree allowing the use of nuclear weapons in Ukraine. In other words, he's likely going to be using tactical nukes. In Russia's new doctrine, an aggression from a non-nuclear country that's allied with a nuclear country is taken as basically both of these countries attacking you. Not that Russia needs an excuse to use nukes on Ukraine, not that Russia needs an excuse for anything. Russia does whatever it is that Russia wants to do. But that's what we have at the moment. And I would like to say that I'm not worried, but I also heard from some friends the other day that in the UK, they're giving out iodine tablets to their residents. So if you're in the UK, please confirm. Or if you're in any country that's not far away from Ukraine, any European country, not Romania, because we know that you guys have been getting iodine tablets since like the beginning of this invasion. But if you guys are in Europe, please let me know if your governments are giving you iodine pills. I'm very, very curious. And unfortunately or fortunately, that's all I have for you for today. Please don't forget to subscribe to this channel to get more news more consistently. Also, don't forget to like this video and send it to a friend so they can stay connected and catch up as well. And of course, don't forget to leave me your questions, suggestions, and thoughts in the comments underneath this video because I appreciate all of them and I read all of them. Till next time.